Of the jetty when you first started living here?
Well, when I first came here, we used to come down from Perth for holidays first, and always went down the jetty, walked to the end, and that time they had the Barber jetty as well, which joined the other one. It's called the Junction, and I always remember the swimming baths. The children from the school, they used to come down regularly every week and have their lessons there on either side of the jetty, and our Janine was one of them, and they also had a beautiful slide. They used to go up onto the jetty and get on the slide and into the water. Nowadays that's all gone, and it seems a shame really, because nothing much for the children. And they had band playing in the rotunda that was just past the swimming baths, and I always remember the pile driver, this huge ungainly looking bit of machinery that always resided on the jetty, and that was kept there for driving piles.
Did you ever see it get used?
Yes, I saw them using it, and you could hear it from the house here, the thump, thump, thump.
It was quite a way, probably about 2 or 3 miles from the jetty from here, I'd say.
Oh yes, you probably are about 3 mile from the jetty, because the jetty was a mile and a half long. And I also, you could hear things that were happening down there on a still day if you hear them from here. And I also remember the ships coming in there. Had a few ships coming in those earlier times. They took timber away, but in our time when we were here, it was mostly alcohol and wine and stuff like that. Reg Bavell was the agent, and he used to have to go out with his book and take note. We've gone over a couple of vessels that have called, that were open for inspection, and amazed at how cramped it was down below.
Yeah.
And the training ship came in a few times. We went over that. And of course there was Cyclone Alby that destroyed most of the jetty. And I can always remember going down, we went down with our push bikes with the 2 girls, and there was just, the beach was just strewn with piles and jetty timbers, awful mess.
Were there many people down there having a look?
Lots of people, yes, down there having a look.
And what was the feeling amongst everyone down there having a look? Was everyone, were they sort of shocked, were they?
Yes, very shocked at what had been done. And crowds of people, kiddies and their bikes.
Yeah.
And but the jetty timbers, you're just amazed at the size of the bits of the jetty and piles, and all washed up on the beach. They were warning people with boats to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
Timber in the water. But it's, we used to swim. My dad used to go down pretty well every morning. He would walk down from the cottage we were in at the time, and he always used to stick his head in the water first, toss the water over his head, and then he'd gradually dip under, have a little bit of a bounce around. He was a very frail man, so he couldn't strike out and swim. And he always took a bottle with him, a beer bottle, filled it up with salt water, brought it home, heated it up and soaked his feet because of all the minerals in the seawater. He said it did him a lot of good. So they were mainly the things we saw, and running over the piles of seaweed, the storms brought in, and this around this time of the year, and very high mounds of seaweed, and run over the top and very often slip right through. and then the next storm that came would take it all away again. It'd be as clear as could be.
Yeah.
So that's mainly my recollections of the jetty. Of course, they had a light on the end when I suppose it still is there, flashing, and to warn shipping.
Was the length of the jetty the same back then? Did you see it change?
Yes, the length was the same.
Yeah.
It's just that the one jetty sort of met the other one.
Yeah.
The railway one, I think it was, used to meet the other one. I guess it's possible that in very early times that was the end where the railway jetty joined the other. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it wasn't too far off there, isn't it?
No.
Museum. They got pictures of it.
Yes, they've put that in since, and but it's always lots of people fishing, and Mum and Dad used to go down there fishing. And I wasn't too keen on it, and but they loved it, and sometimes the wind was so strong, you know, they'd have to go over the other side and fish from the other side. And always quite a well-known community of fisher people. They'd see each other there each time and chat away, and very sociable.
Yeah.
Mum was always warning us to look out for hooks on the jetty, not trip over their lines. It's, oh yes, it's had a great history. And she used to, as a young woman, go down to the beach. And I don't know about the jetty, but the sea started from just beach side of the courthouse. Steps going down to the beach there.
It's quite a long way back, isn't it?
Yes.
I suppose over a period of a long time the sands just built up, and
Yes.
that's the land we know today where the
That's
where the
right.
restaurant is and the park.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some seem to think it'll start coming back in again.
Oh right, yeah. There's a fair bit of erosion down there now.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's the seaweed built up.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time
You're very welcome.
and giving this interview. Yeah, it's my Auntie Margaret, everyone. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, I hope it contributed something.
Yes,
And,
yes.
the memories are there, and it's a great jetty, great attraction.
It sure is.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much. Well, here we are down at the jetty. This is about halfway out. This is the section that all the older people refer to as the junction. Before Cyclone Alby, this part here used to join up to the old jetty that was destroyed. That's the original jetty, and here we have the railway jetty that was built in 1909. This is the wood section just past the junction. As you can see, this is original wood, I'd say. It's a bit of what it was like before they put the concrete down. Well, here we are about 3/4 of the way out. This is about my favourite fishing spot on the jetty. I quite often come out here at night and just look at the town. You see the whole town from here. I wonder how many people have done this before me over the years, just stood in the same spot and just looked at everything. You can see all the way to Dunsborough from here. Well, here we are on the second wood section of the jetty. As you can see on the left here, on the right, sorry, there's these poles Looks like ships once docked here. And you can just imagine that about 100 years ago there would have been probably steamboats docked here loading up timber, and this section would have been a busy working area with probably trains stopped here and people on their daily working lives. Yes, but that was a long time ago. As we can see here, it's a bit of a remnant of the old jetty before reconstruction. It's just a bit of a pylon sticking out in the middle of the water. This would have been twice as wide once. I can remember about 10 years ago or so when I came down here as a teenager. This part wasn't even reconstructed yet, and it was twice as wide as it is now. This is another old section of the jetty out near the end. It just seems to stick out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know why they, maybe just to show a bit of the heritage of the jetty, the way it used to be. And they have a some sort of weather tower on it. As you can see, these are the poles for the coral for the observation observatory. Here we are close to the end of the jetty now. That's the underwater observatory out there, the newest construction on the jetty. Beyond that there's about 50 metres of jetty that hasn't been reconstructed yet, and it's in pretty bad condition. Unfortunately, to film it because of the closure of the observatory because of the storms. But if you're ever out here, just go out to the observatory and stick your head around the corner and you can see the old section as it was before reconstruction. It's still got its boat moorings there, and there's still pieces of wood down the side of the jetty up against it. It's quite interesting to have a look. It's worth coming down because it probably won't be there forever. They're bound to fix it up one day. As you can see, it's quite a long way to the shore from here. We're about 1.8
As you probably know, it's just on 2 kilometres long, and being the longest wooden structure in the southern hemisphere, it is quite a unique thing for Busselton. But millions of tonnes of jarrah and carry timber, and also mineral sands, a few spuds. But in the earlier days there used to be a lot of passengers and cargo coming in, and particularly before the steam trains came out here, because the passengers and cargo wagons. But with the horse-drawn wagons, the jetty in those days was only about half the length it is today. So the horses never came out anywhere near this distance here. But some of the funny things that happened on the jetty here, when the steam trains came out here, the fireman on the steam train had to walk with a bucket on a rope so he could put out the fires that any sparks had started from the steam train. Also, one of the young ladies from the town here, she rode off the jetty twice in 1 week on her bike. First time she rode off the end of the jetty, she said g'day to somebody and forgot bait, fish and all her gear as well. And the next time she went off was about a week later. She went off up here where the two jetty, the main jetty went forward and the railway jetty went round the side there, and she hit the railway jetty, the section in between, and went overboard. I must admit that she was cross-eyed, so I mean that didn't help things very much. But we have magnificent coral under this jetty. It's soft coral of all the colours of the rainbow, and it is because of the warm Lewin current that has attached itself under the jetty piles because of the extra overhead cover from the jetty, which helps to keep the sunlight off the coral. But it's absolutely magnificent coral, and that is why we have put in the underwater observatory, which has cost $3.6 million. And up to the date, in about 5 months, we have taken over 50,000 people down the underwater observatory. Okay, that'll do for that minute then, until I turn the truck. ran on clockwork and he believed me.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Aussie went over to Ireland to see his Irish relations. He said to Penny, he said, what's the best way to get to Belfast? And he said, what? And he said, no, I'll be driving. He said, well, that's the quickest way.
Taking the train.
Anyway, Mark, this jetty has been a really icon for Busselton. And when it was originally started, an 18 jetty of 160 odd cars long, how they ever got the piles put in the jetty, for the jetty, I don't know. It must have been a hard work because they didn't have the pile drivers like they have today or even back 50, 60 years ago. But the jetty has seen old ships here loading timber at the same time, and there were big marshalling yards for the timber to be loaded into the railway trucks, which was all loaded by hand mostly in those days, for the railway sleepers in particular, both on the jetty foreshore and also down where the post office is at present. The yards there loading the jetty. But this bay, Geograph Bay, where the jetty is situated, is quite unique because when you're standing on the end of the jetty here, or out on the end of the cape, you can see the sun and the moon coming up over the ocean when you're in West Australia, instead of being on seeing the sun coming up over the land as well. So it's quite unique that way. We've had passengers on the train from all over the world. When I have been on train duty, I've had them from places like Russia, Siberia, Iceland, Scandinavian countries, whether it's Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, the Chile, the Argentine, Madagascar, whether it's New Guinea, Malta, and all the Asian countries, and a lot of the old Yugoslav countries, Italy, France, of course the UK is a very big market for us.
World famous place.
Oh, too right, it's very well known, yes, and we're getting a lot of people out here, more people than we thought we were going to see, taking the trip out to see our new underwater observatory, which has been really spectacular with the beautiful scenery you can see through those windows. I better start getting these lot of passengers back in, collecting
No
their
worries.
tickets.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. As you can see, all the tourists walking out into the jetty. It's quite popular today. There goes the trainload of passengers. It's amazing to think once that heavy steam trains came out here carrying loads of timber. A few large scales and some fish blood down here. Someone must have had a good time last night catching a large mulloway, I'd say. Just one of the many fish you can catch off this jetty. Okay, this is the foundation. I'd like to conclude this video. This is where construction first started, and it ran out to all the way out there where it joined up to the railway jetty. This is the whole section that was wiped out in Cyclone Alby. I'd like to thank you for watching my video. This has been a Mark Ward production in association with Lynn's Camera.